Sometimes a conversation goes from bad to worse.
That would be true.
Moving forward with the Decker team. Moving forward together with the Decker team.
So we're excited that for over 30 years, not only have we been able to come alongside you selling, buying, and investing in real estate over 3,117 times, but also able to come alongside you to build your fund, build your finances, build and even strengthen, heal, and flourish inside your relationships. So what makes, this is an important thing to explore. What makes a conversation go even worse or get out of control?
Yeah, because sometimes it's a bad conversation.
No.
That's really even a tough conversation. Most people say, oh, that's a tough conversation. It's just a really important conversation is what they're trying to say that needs to be said.
Right, because we already went through the filters, right? So you want to make sure that the thing does need to be said. It needs to be said to the person you're talking with, which we explored.
And then if it does, because it may salvage the relationship, it may end the relationship if it's meant to be. But generally, great conversations, which may be called tough, generally build a relationship. And that's one of the fallacies. That's a falsehood that people believe, that when you have what we call a tough conversation, it's probably going to end the relationship. It generally deepens the relationship. And if it doesn't, then you probably didn't have a good relationship to start with. If it's said kind and loving and
right, like we still have to do all those other things
through
appropriately.
The filter. Yeah, if you're outside of the filter, it might ruin a relationship.
Well, then,
for sure.
Then it's not kind, and so therefore it doesn't work anyway. So what is it? Because we said we would talk about what things can cause it to derail. And beyond what it really escalate out of control, derail.
I like the word derail, because you know what? Trains derail, right? A train can be trucking along. It's really, does trains truck or trucks truck along? Anyways, that's just
humming along. I think we might say
chugging along. Trains chug along. The train could be chugging along, and then unbeknownst to the conductor, there's something on the track that triggers a wheel to come off the track. And once one comes off, the momentum of the train tends to take everyone off the track, right? Because the other trains, what are they called? I got
cars.
The caboose. Cars. It's weird they're called cars because it's a train. But anyways, they follow the locomotive. So boom, off they all go, right? So it causes the train to derail. Conversations can derail from previous triggers that you didn't even know were there. Right. So you say something, or I say something to you. Now I know a lot of your triggers now after 42 years of, being with you. But when a relationship isn't that deep, or even sometimes when it is, there'll be something that comes up for the person that derails the conversation. And you go, what the heck just happened? Because that reaction shouldn't have come from the conversation we're having.
Right. And so it's a deep-seated trigger that's sitting below the surface. And I'm going to put you on the spot.
No. Somebody phone in and save me.
So when is the time that you can think of, like the first one that pops into your head, where you've been triggered unexpectedly?
Oh, I don't think that ever happens to me, does it?
Yes, it does. Where you're unaware, you don't even know what's going on, and all of a sudden...
Frequently, we'll have a conversation with my bride. Okay, here we go. This is very authentic. And you might tell me how to do something or what order you want me to do something in. And I don't know what it is from the past, but my trigger goes off because I feel controlled. And I'm happy to do it, but I want to do it my way. And in the order I want to do it, not necessarily the way you want it done.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Well, because it just shows up and you don't even know why the person just snapped at you. And it's like, what'd you yell at me for? It's like,
That be it. I feel controlled.
Yeah, except in the moment we're not usually,
Micromanaged.
right. But in the moment where you're not usually aware, right? It's that thing that's sort of unaware.
Yeah.
That trigger. And
Until
then
you gotta look back and go, where did that come from? Because that was unreasonable, out of bounds, whatever you want to call it, right? So that will make a conversation tougher when the person is triggering all over the place.
Right.
And it just means there's unsettled, there's open loops in their life around something that conversation just opened that loop. It was just sitting there waiting to spring out of that.
Yeah, and it's sometimes things that are open, but it's also things that are just entrenched. So it's just patterns, right? Like
deep-seated
patterns, right? So if you're going to push me for a quick decision on something I don't feel equipped to make a decision on, if I feel equipped, I'm quick, I can make a fast decision. And if I don't feel equipped in that moment, when you're pushing me against the wall, I know what I say every time.
Not anymore. I know what you used to say.
I know what I used to say. What did I say?
You used to say, okay, fine, do it.
Do whatever you want. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
But you would say it in an angry way.
Oh, more than a little angry.
Because you really did care.
I really did care.
So why are you talking falsehoods? That's against the rules, our 5 rules of communication.
Right. So it's when you feel pushed against the wall, for me, in decision making, then that's a pattern. And so what do you say now? What I say now, well, first I breathe, I pause, and attempt to say nothing initially. And then I'll say, thanks for the question. That's a great thing to consider. Let me consider it and get back to you. Because if I don't take myself the space, I'm going to make a decision that I probably don't even like. And I won't know if I like it, is the point.
Right.
I'll never know if it was a good one. So sometimes it's history that can cause us to derail a conversation. History with that person, right?
Or history with someone else. That's what a trigger is.
Right. So they like these are all really connected, but they are different elements of those same things elements of the thing that will cause you a conversation that you're going, what just happened?
Yes. And if your conversation is very important, that's the reason you're having it, then you may have to pause it, clear the obstruction out of the way, like remove that thing that's going to derail the train, clear that, and then come back to your conversation. Because if you keep pushing on the conversation without clearing the debris off the track.
How's that? We'll call it all debris.
Yeah. The next train's going off the tracks too over the same debris.
Again and again and again. Like it's when this really what we're talking about is when the conversation issue isn't really the conversation you're having. Like it's 2 different conversations, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I know this might sound very confusing, or maybe not. Maybe you're like tracking with us 100% and they go, these guys are awesome. Our 31 Life Step Journey is an amazing online course, video content. You can look it up at doubledecker.life. So there's never a good time. I want to just say this is Ken's quote. There's never a good time to use humor to avoid or minimize an important conversation. We're honored to be your advocates moving forward to building wealth through real estate and a life exponential.
Moving forward with the Decker team. Moving forward